What do we need to know about our times? What is so interesting about our times? Let's look at the characteristics of our times. As you look at the next slide, it talks about our times and the characteristics of our times. As you move on, here you can see the characteristics of our time. We are living in times where the future is not known to us. What's going to happen tomorrow? We have no idea. We live in a world which is called the VUCA world, which is volatile, which is uncertain, which is complex, and which is ambiguous. And this really makes it really tough and challenging. Black swan events are rare events in history, events which could not be predicted. Such events are happening more frequently, which is supposed to be rare, and now is happening more frequently. So COVID-19 is an example of a black swan event. Nobody predicted this. Nobody knew that this could come, this could happen. 9/11, the terrorist attack in the United States, nobody knew about it. Nobody could predict this. Brexit, nobody could predict that this could happen. So these are examples of black swan events, events which are rare, generally rare, but have widespread, severe ramifications, and usually the ramifications are negative. We are living in times where change is the only constant. Things are changing all the time. Our lifestyles, our environment, industry, opportunities, business models, everything is changing all the time. So change is the only thing that's constant. Change is happening at an incredibly fast pace. So change always happened. In the history, change was always there. We could always see change. The industrial revolutions, the first industrial revolution, the second one, and the third one, they all came almost after 40, 50, 60 years. But today, the change that happens is happening so rapidly that we cannot imagine. If you talk about mobile phones today, almost more than 100 new models of mobile phones hit the market every week. Imagine the computing power of the best of computers now have converged in mobile phones, the small little cute mobile phones. When we remember in the early 40s, when the mainframe computers were popular, they were as big as that of a building. But today, not the same, exponentially more powerful computing processes and computing powers exist in small, cute devices called mobile phone. And then hundreds of new models are reaching the market every week. So this tells us how fast the change is happening today. Knowledge is fast becoming obsolete. Whatever I studied in the university, I am not using it on my job. Whatever you are studying today, you may not use that on your job. Whatever the knowledge that is required 10 years from now, my dear friends, does not exist even today. That's scary, isn't it? But that's also interesting at the same time, because that means that we will have to always on our toes. We have to be on our toes all the time. There are ambiguities all around. So these are characteristics of our times. So I would request you to quickly use your chat window and tell me in one word, when you get to hear about these characteristics of our times, what's the immediate thought that comes to your mind, or the emotion that comes to your mind? You can write excited, scared, panicking, uncertain, not sure, whatever you want to write. Use your chat window and then in one word, write what is your reaction to what you just saw in this slide. We are talking about times where the future is not, which future is unknown. Change is happening all the time. Change is happening very, very fast. The knowledge that we are acquiring today will go away. It will become obsolete in some time. So how do you feel? Scary, exciting, interesting. Somebody has said exciting. Okay. Exciting. Okay. Scary, uncertain, excited. Okay. I would like to see more responses, guys. Use the chat window and then talk about how you think, what you feel about this. Magical. Okay. That's really encouraging. Brilliant. Fantastic. So there are mixed emotions here. Some of you feel excited. Some of you feel scared. Some of you feel magical. Some of you feel, well, not sure. I don't know. So these are mixed reactions, and this is very natural because our times are like this. Our times are, oscillating from one end of the spectrum to another end. The one end is uncertain, scary, bleak, and the other side of the spectrum is excited, challenging, looking forward to, and so on. So now, my dear friends, the question is, how do we deal with our times better? How we as early career professionals deal with these times and then come out with flying colors. How can we be on top of these times that we are living in today? While everything is uncertain, the future is unknown, the entire environment is volatile, the business industry and everything is having too many complexities, how can we still be on top of things? I think that's something that we need to talk about. And my dear friends, this session is all about that. This session is about those life skills which are required for us to survive and thrive in the challenging times. Let's move on. I am not going to give you any answers. I'm not going to give you any solutions. I'm not going to give you any sermon or gyan. I'm going to ask you 9 questions. Your future will depend on how you answer these questions. Your future will depend on how you respond to these questions and how do you implement your answers and your ideas in response to these questions. So there is no right or wrong answer. There is no good or bad answer. But every question is a provoking question which will provoke you into thinking and getting the best out of you. But how you respond is how your future is going to shape out. I remember something which is very, very spectacular, a quotation by a very famous personality. He said, my life is just about 10% what happens to me. And it's 90% how I respond to situations and events in my life. So it's 10% what happens to me, 90% is how I react to what happens to me. So your life is about how you're going to react to these questions, and your response will decide your future. So without wasting any time, let's keep moving. Let's go to the first question. Here comes the first question for you. And be ready with your chat window to give your response. And don't worry about the right or wrong answer. What's my unique value proposition? What's my unique value proposition? What value I propose to my company, my organization, my institution, my team, my society? What's my value proposition? What is my unique value proposition? This is a very important question. My vision. Okay, let's look at some more responses. What's my unique value proposition? The question for you is, what is your unique value proposition? Unique value proposition. Why I'm saying unique? It's unique to you as an individual, and it's of value. Okay, I've seen a couple of responses. Make the best use of time, my profession, job skills. Somebody said my company. Guys, you guys are way off the mark. You guys are way off the mark. Your unique value proposition. Let me give an example. Apple phones, the iPhone, the Apple computers or the Apple company have got a very unique value proposition for the iPhone. The iPhone is that we will make a phone which will be so simple and user-friendly. It would be so simple that a 4-year-old child can use it, can operate it. The iPhones are so simple to use that a 4-year-old child can operate it. That's the unique value proposition of iPhone. What's your unique value proposition? That's unique to iPhone. No other phone can match that. What is your unique value proposition? Uber company said this, that we will make commuting in taxi so convenient for the passengers that this becomes a very pleasant experience for the passengers. That's the value proposition, and that's what they have done. They have made a taxi ride, a cab ride, a pleasant experience for the passengers. What's your unique value proposition? Nishan says making learning. I could not read that. Focused on what our customers value. Aapka apna bazaar. No, these are motherhood statements. Focus on customer. iPhone didn't say focus on customer. They said we will make iPhone so simple to use that even a 4-year-old can operate it. Guys, so this tells you what your life is going to be will depend on how you're going to answer these 9 questions. These questions are very simple questions. The language used is simple English, but it's not so simplistic. Making things very easy. It's a very motherhood statement, Pramod. It's not a unique value proposition. How? Which thing? All right. Think about it. So it looks like you guys don't have your unique value proposition. So I'm going to give you some clue. Your unique value proposition is unique to you. Nobody else can match it. You are probably the best in that, or one of the best in this world, or in this country. You are one of the best in that. Every individual in this world has one uniqueness in which he or she is the best. Have you identified that? And how can we use that uniqueness of yours to create value for your customers, for your stakeholders, for your teams, for the society? How can you create value? The iPhone example, it's about a technology which is unique to them. It's the best technology. And how can they use that technology expertise, which is their uniqueness, to create value? They decided that we can create value by making it simpler, so simple for our customers. It's so simple that even a 4-year-old child can use it. See the power of this value proposition. All right, so go back, think about it. You don't have to answer it now. But as I said, what your life is going to be will depend on how you answer these 9 questions. We'll move on to the second question, ladies and gentlemen. Here is the second question. Are you running a 100 meters race or a marathon? Use the chat window and then give your response. No right or wrong answer. I'm not going to answer this question. I would share some perspectives. But how you answer is going to determine your future. Are you running a 100-meter race or are you running a marathon? Majority of you have said marathon so far. Marathon, okay. Marathon. Great. So your career can either be a 100 meters race and get over in no time. You celebrate, jump and enjoy, and it's over. Or it can be a marathon when you can run, not for 100 meters, not for 1 minute, but it's a run with other people, with fellow competitors, people cheering you. You are right in the middle of a city or a street, and you can see the ambience, the environment you can experience, and that run itself becomes an experience. I don't know what's the right or wrong answer, but how you're going to answer this question will depend how you are going to lead your life. As we move on, in the context of the same question that I asked you, there's a very famous business tycoon. All of you know this gentleman, Warren Buffett. He said something very powerful. He said, no matter how great the talent or efforts, no matter how great the talent or efforts are, some things just take time. You can't produce a baby in 1 month by getting 9 women pregnant. Interesting? Sounds a little funny, but this is true. This comes from the wisdom of a great business tycoon, Warren Buffett. Dear friends, certain things in life just take some time. We need to understand that. As you look at the next slide, as we move on, Warren Buffett says something interesting. He says, what we need is crazy dedication and unusual persistence. Crazy dedication and unusual persistence. So crazy dedication, where the whole world thinks that, what are you doing? Are you crazy? Are you a mad fellow? Ajim Premji, the former chairman of Wipro, says, if people don't laugh at your goals are not great enough. They're not big enough. So if people don't call you crazy and mad, what are you chasing? What are you pursuing? And you need to pursue that with unusual persistence. Unusual persistence is when everybody has given up, you still stay put, and then you persist. You don't give up. It's an unusual persistence. So some clue in terms of what possibly your response could be for the second question. But as I told you, I'm not here to give you answers. I'm not here to talk on your behalf. I'm here to ask you questions. Now we'll move on to the next question. What do I stand for? My job or my role? What do I stand for? My job or my role? Use the chat window. As you get into a company, an organization, you start your professional career, what are you going to stand for? My role, my job, my role, my job. So some of you are saying my job, some of you are saying my role. Okay. But do you guys understand the fundamental difference between the job and role? Assistant manager operations is a job. Vice president is a job. General manager is a job title. A teacher is a role. Professor is a job. What's the difference between the job and the role? The job has a job description, it has a JD. It has clearly defined roles and responsibilities. Role does not have a JD. Father is a role. Father doesn't have a JD. Mother is a role. The most favorite person for all of us is our mother. All of us love our mother, our father. They don't have a JD. So as you begin your career, what is it that you're going to stand for? The job, which has a JD, a title, a position, or a role, which has a sense of responsibility, ownership, accountability, where you go out of your job description to deliver. You go out of the way to deliver. When the terrorists attacked Taj Hotel in Mumbai a few years ago, and they killed many people inside the hotel, they killed many guests, and there were many people who were inside the rooms. Many guests were inside the rooms. The customer support executives of the hotel, Taj Hotel, they stayed back in their customer support center and they were operating the telephones. And from their customer support center, they started calling individual guests who were inside the room. They kept on telling them that, sir or madam, there has been terrorist attack in the hotel. You please stay inside your room. Don't step out. Till the time we have called you, we haven't called you and then informed you about the situation. Please stay inside your hotel rooms. These customer executives, many of them had finished their duty. The time was over. They could have left for home. They could have gone back home. They knew if they stay back, terrorists can enter their area anytime. They can kill them. But they decided to stay put, stay back, call every guest individually, advise them to stay inside their rooms. What those customer support executives were standing for? They were standing for the job or the role? Can I see some responses? Their role is beyond their job. And my role is I'm responsible for the safety and the comfort and the convenience of every guest in the hotel. That's my role. I will go out of the way to ensure that I can take care of my guests. In the job description, nowhere it is mentioned that if there's a terrorist attack, you will have to stay back and then call the guests. Job description, the JD doesn't say that. But because they stand for their role, they understand their responsibility. So as we begin our professional career, the question is what we should stand for, my job or my role. But as I told you, I'm not going to give you the answers. You are going to give the answers. And how you answer the question will decide your future. We'll move on to the next question. Well, this is fine, but I don't have the resources I need. How do I succeed? Well, I was not born to the richest parents. I was not born in the United States of America. I did not go to the best college in the country. I don't have all the money to start a business. I don't have all the backing to get a good job. I don't have the resources I need. How do I succeed? Let's look at the next slide. It'll give us some clue. What happens if I give you all the resources in the world? Does it still guarantee that you will succeed? This gentleman has all possible resources, plenty of them, but he's still struggling to cross over the wall, right? So it's not just about the resources all around you, right? But we'll have to find them. The resources does not mean money. It doesn't mean authority. It doesn't mean power. It means your influence. It means your talent. It means how are you gathering and collecting resources from your environment? How are you getting support from the environment? From your mentors, from your colleagues, from your friends, from your teachers, from your parents, from within yourself. You don't have to have all the resources in the world, but you have enough to become successful. Just look around. If you look around, you will find resources. You will find answers. A former boss, a manager of mine in the first company which I joined, always used to tell me something very interesting. I used to tell him that, I need more support, I need more resources, I need more backing. He used to tell me that look around. If you look around, you'll find support, you will find backing, you'll find resources, you'll find everything. I said, how can I find by looking around? He said, when you were coming to office, how you used to, this is about 20 years ago, I had a bike. I was going to the office on my bike. And he used to ask me, how do you come to office? I said, I come by bike. He said, do you have traffic junctions? I said, yes. He said, what happens when there is a red light, when the red light is on? What do you do? I said, I don't do anything. I just stop and wait for the red light to turn green. He said, you are wasting your time. Why don't you look around? If you look around, you'll find somebody on your left or on your right. Maybe there's a beautiful girl looking at you. You have not even looked at her. You are cursing and cribbing and then saying, when will this red light turn green? But look around. You will find interesting things. Maybe there is somebody who is looking at you and then you must reciprocate. So while that story was on a lighter side, but it tells us something interesting, that sometimes we don't even look around. There are resources, there are opportunities, there are possibilities all around. We need to go and grab them. First of all, we need to see them, and then we need to see how we can take advantage of these resources, how we can leverage these resources. So that's a very interesting concept that I learned in the early part of my career. But again, how do I succeed? I don't have all the resources. You have to look around and then find out the resources that you need. And if you don't find out, then you will have challenges. Now let's move on to the next question. Another interesting question. Am I smart or disciplined? You might say both. And I say fantastic, great. If you can be both smart and disciplined, excellent. But if you have to choose between the two, which one will you choose? Yeah, Gitanjali, you were right. Both is fantastic. But if you can't become both and then can only become one of these two, either smart or disciplined, which one would you choose? The house seems to be divided. Some of you are saying smart, some of you are saying disciplined. But as I promised you, I'm not going to give you the answers. How you answer is going to decide your future. But you have to choose. Either you choose to become smart or you choose to become disciplined. If you don't have a choice to become both. But this is interesting. Smartness can take you far, but discipline will make you strong. And in the long run, discipline can really take you far, gain respectability, gain trust of your customers, of your stakeholders. Each one of them has its own advantages. But if you have to choose one of them, which one is going to choose is something which is very important. But I'm tight-lipped. I cannot give you the answer. You have to choose your answer. We'll move on to the next question. Am I learning something every day? That's a question that you have to ask yourself. Every day. Interestingly, life teaches us something every moment. But are we learning or not is up to us. As you look around, as you talk to me, as you talk to Nishant, as you talk to your friends, as you go out and party with your friends, every situation provides you learning. Life teaches you all the time. But are we learning or not is the question. You remember sometime at the beginning I said our knowledge is becoming obsolete. The knowledge that gathered in the university is not relevant today. The knowledge we need tomorrow does not exist. That knowledge will evolve over the next few years. So the question is, are you learning something every day? If yes, are you learning something which is relevant? Are you learning something which is thought through and planned? Are you learning something which is aligned to your career plans? Are you learning something every day which will take you, which will help you progress in your career and life? Great, so you have given your answers. If you are learning something every day, great. But if you're not learning something every day, think about it. I'm not saying you have to, but please think about it if you're not learning something every day. We'll move on to the next question. Who do I hang out with? Who do I spend most of my time when I'm awake? With my friend, with my teacher, with my mentor. Every day I spend a good amount of time with this person or this group of people. And who are they? Your mentors, your students, your family. Apart from a family, if you set aside your family, who else do you spend? You can include your family as well, but in the context of our discussion today, if you pick up somebody or a group of people outside your family, your friends, mentors, teachers, my team, my friends. Wonderful. Okay, I don't know what's the right or wrong answer, but I will share with you some research findings. One research finding has told us, or tells us something very interesting. It says that the person that you spend most of your time with, you are likely to become that person in the next 5 years. So if you are spending most of your time with an individual, you are going to become like him or her in the next 5 years. Now, with this perspective, look at this question once again and try and answer this question. Who do I spend most of my time with? Somebody who is more knowledgeable than I am, then I am going to become more knowledgeable in 5 years. Somebody who is extremely sharp, intelligent, I am spending most of my time with her or him. I'm going to become like that person in the next 5 years. Somebody who goes to party, drinks every day, smokes every day, and then I spend most of the time with that person, I'll probably become like that person in the next 5 years. Nishant was talking about satsang at the beginning. Who do you hang out with will decide what you will become in the next 5 years. Very powerful. Research-based finding, what I shared with you, is not something out of the blue, what I'm sharing with you. You have to determine who I'm hanging out with today most of my time. Do I want to hang out with that person going forward? Or I would like to think about it. I am not saying you stop your friendship. You do not talk to that person. But think, is that the person that you want to hang out with most of your time when you're awake? Think about it. This is an important question. Do some soul searching, some reflection. Try and find the answer to this question. The next question. Do I have time to stop by and? Do I have time to stop by and? Let me share with you a story. Washington Post decided to conduct an experiment in one of the busiest metro stations in Washington. They decided to run this experiment. They invited a great, before I talk about who they invited. So this experiment was being organized by Washington Post. So in one of the very famous metro stations in Washington, on one early morning, there was a singer who was singing some classical numbers right in the basement of that metro railway station. And that was the peak time, office time. Everybody was going to office. Moms were taking their children to school. Men and women were going for their office. Other people were on their business community, and other people were out to do their business. The singer was singing, and hardly anyone stopped by. People kept on moving. Nobody stopped there. There is one small 4 or 5 year old boy stopped there for 15 seconds. His mom dragged him and then said, "Hey, Peter, come, you're getting late for the school." And she dragged him. And there was another guy who just dropped $1 right in front of this guy where he was singing. So he sang for about 45 minutes to 1 hour. He collected about $35. You know who that singer was? Joshua Bell, very famous classical singer who is well known all over the world. The same day evening, he had a concert in one of the auditoriums in the city where each ticket was sold for $100. This was an experiment that was carried out by Washington Post. And the experiment was to find out in an inappropriate time, in a very busy setting, will people stop to admire beauty? Will they stop to admire art? Will they stop by to admire something which is extraordinary? He was singing the most spectacular classical numbers, but nobody paid attention. And this experiment tells us something very interesting. It says, in life, do we sometimes really stop by and look at something? Listen to somebody. Try and watch something. Do we do that? Or are we just moving, on the move all the time? This is a question that we should ask ourselves. Our parents are getting older. Do we have time sometimes to stop by and then talk to them? Find out what they need. Our children need our attention. Do we really sometimes stop by and then ask them, play with them, spend time with them? Our friends, our colleagues. And if you don't do that, imagine how many precious, important things we are losing out on our life when we are on the mad race, always on the move, have no time to stop by. And this is a question I would leave you with. You don't have to answer this question in the chat window. This question is for you to reflect. A very important question, which will decide how happy you are as an individual. Now we go to the last question. Can I become a leader? You can use the chat window and answer the question. Well, MS Dhoni can be the captain. Virat Kohli can be the captain. Sundar Pichai can be the CEO of Google. Can I become a leader? Well, I am from Bhubaneswar. I am from Odisha, one of the less advanced states in the country. I am from a middle-class family. I cannot become a leader. That's one answer. The second answer can be yes. Why can't I become a leader? So friends, who can become a leader? Who is the leader in the forest? Can you answer my question? Who is the king of the forest? Lion? Fantastic. So lion is the king of the forest. Is lion the fastest animal in the forest? No. Is the lion the tallest animal? No. Is the lion the mightiest? No. The lion is not the tallest, not the fastest, not the strongest, not the mightiest, but he is the king of the forest. So friends, to become a leader, you don't have to be the tallest, the strongest. You don't have to be the most intelligent. You don't have to be the best. You don't have to be the wisest. You don't have to be the mightiest. Can we still not be the leader? It's for you to answer. Let's take a quick recap of these 9 questions. Go back and reflect on these questions Answer these questions yourself. And how you answer, what you answer will determine your future. Whatever